Good morning. This is Robert Goodman from Positive Strokes. I'm sorry for that little mishap with the cameras and stuff. We're back, and I'm back to you, and we're going to talk about how my mother's trauma affected me. As when I was growing up, like I shared that we was poor, but the thing that I want to share is that the pain that my mother was experiencing affected me and my well-being, my life, and who I became. And as my mother, I watched my mother suffer for the situation that we was in. It affected me because I seen her hurt and her pain and her trauma. My father left. I didn't really know him. What was told to me, he left when I was 5 years old. But he appeared two or three times, promising that he will connect with us, be a part of our lives, that our lives will get better. But those were all lies that he told us. And I could see that my mother was suffering the pain of the actions of my father. I see that my mother was suffering the pain of not being able to survive, give to me and my brother what we truly needed. My mother learned how to live in survival mode all the time. And at night, she would cry herself to sleep because of the circumstance and the situation that we were in. When you are in that type of a situation, people that care about you and people that know you, they understand your situation, but they still kind of treat you like you're a liability, that you're going to cost them something. You get that feeling, that look in their eyes, which hurts, which makes you feel ashamed. Due to the fact that I was brought up in this type of environment, and that I was brought up where if you break a rule, you're punished, you're bad. I was taught that God can truly punish you, cause your life to be a living hell, but you must do the right thing all the time. So it taught me to try to do everything perfect, but I could never do everything perfect because I'm an imperfect person. But being a child, this is my way of thinking that the problem will be solved, but it didn't. I didn't understand or know the connection of true love because I was taught wrong, right, that's it. The compassion of love and understanding was not taught to me, wrong or right. So my actions and my shame of being in the position that we was in head over my head. It was held over my head in my mind and in my heart. And I was very much ashamed of us and our situation. And I believe at a young age that no one truly cared about me. And the reason why I felt that way is because we lived in survival mode all the time. The breaks of being in survival mode was the times when we had a refrigerator full of food, where we was able to have a nice meal. We was able to enjoy TV programs. My brother loved sports, and by us having food, we was able to enjoy these things. This is all we had. I felt the shame of our situation, but I carried that shame silently at a young age inside me. I wanted to learn how to connect with people, and I connected with some people, but they was on the wrong side of the track. I presented myself something that I was not because I was ashamed of the person who I am. And this is because I was experiencing the situation of the trauma that my mother was experiencing. I was feeling her pain, her hurt, understanding what was truly going on with her situation. There was nobody to truly, I felt that I was loved. So I did not have the ability to feel compassion and concern. All I knew was survival. And when I'm surviving and things are going good, that was my joy. But I wanted a connection with another human being on a level that I feel connected or close to you, that you're a part of my life. And this is something that did not happen. As I work the program of recovery and do a deep dive on Robert, because see, I have to do a deep dive on myself so I can understand myself and the person who I was. I realized that my in my youth, I was carrying a burden that my mother was carrying. And even though she did not share her pain or the situation that happened, it was like a mystery. My father to me was a mystery. Nobody gave me no information about this man. No one sat down and talked to me about this man. No one told me about my father's people, his sister. I knew nothing. Nobody talked about him. They kept me in the dark, which made me feel that I was ashamed that he was my father. I was ashamed and hated him because the way he treated my mother. But nobody talked to me about him. I was figured as do as I say. If you do this, God's going to punish you. So you better do this, which kept me in a perfect mode, trying to be perfect at all times because the fear was instilled in me that God was going to punish me if I make any mistakes. But recovery taught me that I was dealing with the trauma and the pain that my mother had experienced in her life, that she couldn't deal with this situation, that it was very painful for her, that she lived the pain over and over again because Many nights she would cry herself to sleep, and I would listen to her cry because my room was right next to hers. But nobody explained to me what I needed to know, and that was the true facts of the situation, how we got where we was at. No one explained it to me. And to this day, being 66, I still don't know. What I realize is that trauma is something that happens inside me behind an effect that a situation that happened in my life. The trauma is in me behind a situation that happened in my life when I was young that was not addressed, which caused me to be who I was and act the way I did and caused myself down a road that was completely by myself. So I didn't learn nothing. The only thing that I had going for me is I knew how to survive because I was always in survival mode in my life. And it took me 40 years in active addiction to truly understand and work on myself by the trials and tribulations that I created for myself. Recovery taught me by doing a deep dive on Robert that I truly understood exactly who I was, why I did what I did, and what frame of mind I was at that particular time in my life. I come to realize is that we all are product of a bad situation that happened to our parents in our lives because their bad situation happened to them, caused them to feel emotional and mental pain. It caused them to go down a rabbit hole and hurt deeply about the situation. And by that happening, it affects the child. Science says that bad situations that happen to a mother during pregnancy affects the child. It affects the child's growth, the child's well-being. And if we look at it like this, and this is what science says, then we all, every single human being on this earth, are dealing with some type of issues that our parents have been dealing with in their lives. As I was doing a deep dive on Robert, I came across some information that told me that a child wants to be accepted. I wanted to be accepted. And I knew that. And I understand that at this age of 66, that I wanted to be accepted. But nobody was accepting me. Why? Because we were poor. And people that are poor need. People look at it, they always got their hand out, they need help. And people that know you and care about you, and they know they can't help you, they put blinders on to what you're going through or what you're dealing with. They don't share, your friends don't share the vacations that they go on or the outings and the places that they go on with their families with you because they feel like it's going to hurt you or make you feel bad because of where they went and what they've done. So that conversation does not happen. They talk about other things, superficial things, but nobody wants to touch the things that need to be addressed because it's painful and people look at you and say, well, it's going to cost me something, or I'm going to have to do something that is going to cost me, and I'm not in a position to help. And being the child of a mother going through all these things, wanted to save my mother, wanted to do this, wanted to do that, and all these emotions was flying, caused me to be who I am today. So what I learned is, in order for me to, I had to address these issues that when I was a child, that was the blueprint for who I became, the things that I done. And the pain of being ashamed got so great that it became a moment of venge, hatred, animosity, to get mine at all costs, to not care about what another person thinks or feels. I don't care. I'm going to take what you have. Even if it's the cost of your own life, I don't care because I'm suffering. I'm tired of suffering. It's time for me to take. I'm tired of asking for help and not getting it. And it's caused me to be who I was, the cold hearted person that I had become. My trauma and my pain was built on the ability that my mother could not handle or deal with the situation that was in front of her. All she could do was the survival mode program to make sure that we had what we had. And the rest, she lived in silence in her own pain, not letting go, not being happy, but just living it daily, every single day. And me being the child, the oldest child, I saw that each and every day. I didn't understand what was going on because of my age, but I knew something was wrong, that we were suffering, that she was suffering. And as I got older, I put one and one together and came up with my own conclusion because nobody told me the truth of my past. Nobody told me the truth of my father. Nobody told me the truth about the relationship between my father and my mother. To this day, at 66, I do not know. It was a major secret from me and my brother. And due to the fact that I was disfellowship from being a Jehovah Witness, that I couldn't have no contact with my mother, and I couldn't associate with my mother. My brother didn't want to have nothing to do with me, and I was cast out into the world on my own, doing the best that I could with the information that I had. My information that I learned about living life on life's terms, my Uncle Jack, he taught me work ethic. Work hard, be the best person that you can, do the best you can for the job, and be proud of the work that you do. The streets taught me don't take no shit from nobody. That if you have to take a person's life, it's a part of the job. You want people to fear you, to not try you on any platform that they choose to. That they don't matter, that what you want matters. Then mixed with wanting to connect, be a part of, didn't know how. So what happened was my life as a child, what my mother was going through truly affected my development of who I was and who I shall be. And I had shame of being the person that I was. I was shamed. I had so much shame that who I was. And I would go to any lengths to be a part of something other than what I was experiencing. And I would end up in the wrong places doing the wrong things because I just wanted to be needed and I wanted to be loved. All I knew was right from wrong, was I was taught in the Bible, being a Jehovah Witness. I share this information with you to get you to understand that who we are and the person that Robert has become is due to the facts of the way I was brought up and what went on with my mother. It's not her fault because she dealt with the situation in the manner that she thought that was best for her and me and my brother. She done everything that she possibly could to make sure that we would have food and shelter and we can continue to grow and build the life for ourselves. But nobody taught us the tools to build that life. No one gave us unconditional love. No one gave us, we shouldn't feel ashamed of our circumstances, that that's part of life. Nobody gave us that. We held on to what we can hold on to, and we became what we became. I also learned that just because me and my brother was brought up in the same situation, we were both different. The way things hit our lives and treated us, the way we looked at it, how my brother was treated differently than I was, how he chose a different walk and a different way in his life because even though we come from the same mother, each child sees life differently, and the love and the consideration and the compassion that the mother has for the child as well as the father take it two steps different. So the point I'm trying to make out today is that the person that you become today is truly the effects of whatever happened to you with your parents in their lives and how it affected you. Each child it affects their growing up affects them differently the way they perceive their life. I learned that we must love children unconditionally. We must let them get an understanding of what happened if something did happen in our lives that hurt us so deeply to cause us to act a certain way. I believe that if there was an openness of an understanding of everything that has happened and it was shared with me, I may not have understood it then, but as I got older, I would have. But I would have had the knowledge and understanding that it wasn't my fault. I would have had the understanding that be able to do something about it. See, at a young age, I thought I could save my mother from the pain and stress that she was going through. But I'm looking it through a child's eyes. I don't have the wisdom and understanding to help her in the manner that she needs to help. But me being a child that loves his mother, he I'm gonna try to do what I need to do to protect my mother to take that pain away. And a lot of times, being a child, we think it's our fault. I thought that because she had me, that's why daddy left. So maybe she shouldn't have had me and she wouldn't go through what she's gone through. Being a child, we create so many different type of scenarios that we can help or we believe we're the problem. And it causes us to look at life and circumstances in a different way, which cause us to go down rabbit holes of uncertainty and issues that we create for ourselves. I believe personally that if I was told at a young age the circumstances of the situation that would have helped my development, caused me not to feel ashamed about being poor, not acting like I was acting, that is okay. But the shame was so great that it caused me to have tunnel vision and only feel and act a certain way. So, as now, this is all I did all this in my recovery, learning about myself because I felt that it's real important that I need to know Robert fully and understand Robert and who he is, where he came from, and why he acted the way he did, and why he did the things that he did. And by me understanding myself fully under the circumstances that I did the things that I did and acted the way I did, I know who I am. I'm not making excuses about the situation. I'm not saying these things to make a person feel ashamed or make a person be sorry about my growth and the way I went. No. What I'm doing is each individual needs to do a deep dive on themselves to honestly look at yourself and your history and your growth when you was a child into your adult life, the good things and the bad things that happened to you, the good things and bad things that happened to your parents, and how these things affected you, which caused you to be who you are today. Because here's the thing, what our parents went through and the trauma and the pain that they've experienced does affect us because most parents keep that pain to themselves and they cry silently in their pain. And a child knows when the parents are going through things because a child pays close attention to their parents and they want to do something to make them feel better or to help them get over whatever they're getting over and dealing with. It's the instinct of love and compassion. So my recovery, after working the steps and digging deep within myself, I learned some deep things about myself. And I'm sharing this with you so you can do the same. Do a deep dive on yourself. Understand why you did what you did when you did, and the frame of mind that you was when you did these things. And by you doing that, you make yourself better. You understand yourself better. You won't be ashamed of the things that happened to you or happened to your parents. You had a conversation with your parents and they expressed their point of view and how the things affected them and how they had to change their lives and their way of walking in this world to become who they are today. And when we have these type of conversations with our parents, we learn. We learn. We understand what our parents went through so we can have the life that we have today. And I believe we should find out the valuable cost that a parent paid so you can have the life you can have today. Understand what your parents went through so you can have what you had today. Have that conversation with them. Let you know the pain and the stress and the issues they had to face to build the life that you have today. And you will understand your parents better, you will love them better, and you will understand that they're human, that they make mistakes too. And it's okay to make a mistake. It's okay to go down the wrong path. It's okay. As long as we change our behavior, as long as we change our behavior, as long as we change our behavior to do the right thing. Everyone on this earth is faulty. Everyone on this earth has made mistakes. But the interesting thing is, it's not the mistake, it's what we do after the mistake. And if we truly be honest with ourselves and our actions and who we are, we become better. But if we try to put out a false narrative of ourselves, present ourselves a certain way, and we're not that person, eventually that will be the demise of who we are. I hope what I shared today make you think of just how much your parents went through so you can have what you have today. How much they sacrificed so you can have what you have today. You may not understand what they was going through. You may not agree with what the things, the choices that they made. But look in the mirror. They showed love and concern for your welfare to get you where you're at today. But if you choose to hold on to the things that you think is their fault, then you're hurting yourself. You're not hurting your parents. You're hurting yourself. Your parents did what they could do with the knowledge that they had, with the tools they had to give you what information that they had. They sacrificed everything for you. And here's the thing, don't forget that no matter what went down the pipe, they were still there. No matter what happened, they were still there. So why are you going to hold them accountable for information or a situation that you truly don't understand, or you could not act in the same manner they did if you walked in their shoes? If you experienced what they experienced, went through what they went through to get where they're at today, you are truly blessed that they showed unconditional love and concern for you. So be proud. I'm proud of my mother. I know she went through a whole lot. I know. But I truly understand it at the age of 66, the pain that she went through. It hurts. But I knew in my heart that there was nothing that I could do because I was a child. She did the best she could with the tools that she had. I love you, Mom. This is Robin Goodman for Positive Stroke, Staying Clean. Remember, you didn't walk 1,000 miles in your parents' shoes, so don't sit up and judge because you don't know what you would have done under the circumstances if you was in their shoes. You only can make a conjecture that you think what you would do, but you don't know because you haven't been in that position. You have a great and wonderful day.